Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Miss Crochet and Coffee here, and today we are working on part 2 of our crochet along of Christmas Lights by Loveable Loops over on Pinterest. So yesterday we completed the first 10 rows. I am so proud of so many projects that I've seen. You guys are doing fantastic. And for those folks that were like, I can't do that, and you're showing me pictures that you can, I knew you can do it. It's super easy, and you're gonna love this pattern after you're done because you can make just about anything with it. Now, we're gonna get into a little bit more difficult territory here because now we're gonna be having multiple color changes in the pattern, okay? So, I am still working on the written pattern for you guys because I made a little hiccup on it, so I'm going to keep working on that. Now, when working corner to corner, I probably should have said this in the first one. I do apologize. I was so excited, but you guys are still doing it correctly, but I'm going to show you what I didn't tell you. Now, when you're working a corner to corner, like when we left off on row 10 and we went up, okay? So we did the 5 blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we did the 2 yellow, 1, 2. Then we did the 3 blues, 1, 2, 3. Now, to start row 11, we're not going to read it the same way. We're going to read it going down. It's like stairs, remember. So row 11 will be read from up here and not down here. So we're going to read it from up here. So you're going to have 2 blues, 1, 2, 3 yellows, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blues, okay? So it'll be 2 blue, or I'm sorry, you'll start up top here. So 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3 yellows, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blues, okay? Oh, sorry, you couldn't see. So 6 blues will be going down. So when you're reading this, every other row is going to be going up, every other row is going to go down. So we went up, down, up, down, up, down, and you're just going to read it just like that. So instead of reading it from the bottom here, we're going to read it from the top. And then the next row, we're going to read from the bottom because that's where we're at. And it's easy to do and think about because you got to think, this is the top of our project, this is the bottom of our project. So whenever you start down here, obviously you're going to read the pattern from the bottom up. When you start up here, you're going to read it from the top up, okay? Now, so let's get started. Like I said, we're going to do 2, here we go. We're going to do 2, because we're starting on row 11, so 2 blues, 3 yellows, 6 blues. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm so glad to see so many people sharing their projects and being all excited about this. I was so excited, and I was hoping that nobody would get tripped up by my directions because I talk fast and that's a thing. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of this stitch marker here because we'll use this at the end when we're done for the day. So get that off there. And then how do you remember how to start your next row? That's right. You chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, sorry, slipped off. 5 and 6. And then what do we do next? We count our chains to get to that 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And when counting those chains, look for the V's. So remember, you're looking for those V's. So there's a V right there. There's a V right there. Here's a V right here. And you find that 4th one and you do your double crochet. So you yarn over, you insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And that's how you complete your double crochet. Now we're going to do 2 more on that chain. So we're going to do those last 2 stitches with double crochets in them. 2. And do you remember how to connect it to the next row so you can keep going? That's right. We're going to turn our project. And then we're going to slip stitch it into that chain 3 space. Now make sure, again, you're not going into the double crochets. You're going into that chain 3 where it starts and ends, okay? So we're going to go right into that chain 3 space. We're going to yarn over, pull through. We're going to go through the loop with the one we have on our hook to make a slip stitch. And then we're going to do what? Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Good job. See, you're remembering it. The repetition of me telling you the steps is what's helping you to memorize it. It's kind of like muscle memory, so you know exactly what you're doing. So we're now going to do how many double crochets in here? We're going to do 3. So go ahead and do those 3 double crochets. And because we're only doing 2, remember, because we're starting at the top, so we're only doing 2, don't finish that last double crochet. If you did finish it, just pull your loop just really lightly to pull that last loop out so that you have 2 loops left. Because remember, we have to change colors because we're going to get that 3 yellows. So we're going to leave those last 2 loops on the hook just like that. I'm going to tighten it up. I'm going to pull my string back towards my thumb so I can hold on to it because I don't want that string up front because then you'll get confused what's the front, what's the back. So you have a right side and then you have a wrong side, which is going to have some of these strings on it, okay? So you go ahead and do that. And then we're going to grab that yellow and we're going to finish that last double crochet, okay? So we're just going to pull it through those 2 loops to finish it off. All right, and now that we finished off that last double crochet with the yellow instead of the blue, because we're changing colors, now I'm going to show you how to hide those lines, because some of these lines will be going underneath the same color. So I can't do it with this one because these aren't the same color, so you'll be able to see that blue through the yellow, and we don't want that. Christmas lights don't have hints of other colors in them. So this is how we're going to hide this yellow string. So we're going to start our next row, or our next cluster, and instead of going over the top of that string, go underneath it and then slip stitch, okay? Do your slip stitch, chain your 3 like you normally would. Now do your double crochets. When you do your double crochets, again, don't go on top of this line, go underneath it, because then what's that going to do is, what's going to happen is, that yellow string that you're working with is going to hide and push that string down that you dragged over, okay? And that's how you hide those little pieces whenever you're working on a project like this, especially if you're working with the same color. You go underneath it and let it be pushed down by the current stitch you're working on. And because it's the same color, nobody's going to be any of the wiser. So, we're going to move on to our next one. We're going to do the same thing. Go underneath it. Don't go on top of it. We're going to do our chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Oh, and 3. We're going to go ahead and do our 3 double crochets to make our cluster. 1, 2, and 3. All right, now do keep in mind, this is a tutorial, so if you need to stop, pause, rewind, fast forward through any parts of this, please feel free to do so. Do this at your own pace because we all learn at our own pace. So there's no reason why you have to keep up with me or anybody else. You work at your pace and whatever is easiest for you, okay? So we have our 2 here, and then we have to do 1 more cluster. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go underneath, and we're going to slip stitch. Okay, I'll bring you in a little bit closer here. And then we're going to do our chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then we are going to do our 3 double crochets. So 1. Now, when you do your double crochets, that line is too small. You could go underneath it still, but I don't really think it's necessary. But just for the sake of the video, I'll show you. So if we go underneath it and do our double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Now do keep in mind, we only needed to do 3 double crochets or 3 clusters of yellow. So we're going back to the blue. So I'm going to pull that blue forward now. So I'm going to take that yellow and push it back. Pull the blue forward right underneath it. Now don't pull it too tight because you don't want it to like lean up, okay? You don't want this part folding over because you pulled it too tight. Now this is the part where it's up to you. You can cut that string or you can leave it. If you're making a pillow out of this, you can go ahead and cut that string and the little tails won't matter. You can even pull it forward. But if you're using this as like a motif for a blanket or whatnot, you are going to want to make it as neat as possible, so you'll probably want to cut it so you can tie the ends together and then weave them in. I don't like weaving in ends, so we're going to do this. We're just going to pull it just very lightly. And again, if you want to test how lightly to pull it, lay it down and then just pull it forward towards the hook. It shouldn't be any tighter than that because you don't want that coming up off the table. So even if you have to lay it on the table, we're going to pull that yellow back because we don't need that right now. Sorry about that. Give me a second here to get that off there. All right. So where were we? So we're going to drag that blue. So I'm going to use that finger, my pinky, to hold down the blue. And that way I can make sure that that's not going to pop up. And then that yellow is underneath my finger as well. And then you're just going to yarn over and finish off that double crochet. Once you do that, if it does start to bow like that a little bit, pull it so that it's nice and flat, okay? So now we're going to start our new stitch. And again, you can go on top of the yarn here because if you try to hide that, you'll see the blue. You don't want to see that blue, so just leave that blue sitting there. So we're just going to continue as if we are working with the same color. So we're just going to continue doing our clusters all the way down. Now this batch of rows is going to have you changing colors, I think 2 or 3 times. So don't worry. I know color changing can be scary for some, but it's super easy when you're, especially when you're doing it the way you're doing it here. It essentially makes it an invisible color change, meaning nobody can tell that you color changed. Like, where did you color change? Exactly. So that's why I like doing it like that. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to do our cluster. So let's do our 3 double crochets. 1. And again, if you find yourself getting frustrated or you feel like you need to start over, please feel free to restart this video. We all have issues with when it comes to learning new things, so don't think you will get this right off the bat. Sometimes it takes a couple of tries, but that can be frustrating. So make sure that if you're frustrated that you take a break and come back to it so that you're not having like willy wonky stitches where like some of your stitches are really tight and some of them are really loose. So 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to do our 3 double crochets. 2, 3 double crochets, and then we're just going to keep going. And we have, so far we have 3 clusters. We need 3 more. So we're going to slip stitch into there. We're going to give this another cluster. 2. And sometimes this happens. So you see how that string is stuck out there like that? I hate when that happens. That just means your yarn is like unrolling because you can tell that the yarn is rolled up. So what I like to do is I'll go back and just pull it because I'm very picky when it comes to stuff like that. So I will go back and straighten that out, or you can just trim it off, but I don't like the way that looks. So I always go back and just straighten it up a little bit by pulling the string, and that tightens it up. So we're gonna go ahead and start our next cluster here. Same thing, different day. We're going to do our chain 3, and then we're going to do our 3 double crochets. And even if you think about it, your chain 3 should remind you how many double crochets to do, because you're doing 3 chains, so you'll need 3 double crochets. So we have 4. This is going to be the 5th cluster. 1, 2, and 3. If you hear the humming in the background, that is just my heater kicking on and off. I can't turn it off or I'll freeze to death. It's cold here today. Also, if you hear jingling in the background, it's my puppies. So, well, they're not really puppies. They're dogs, but I treat them like puppies. And then the last one of this row, slip stitch into there, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to double crochet 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And we've completed our first row back onto this. So we've completed row 11. And to help you figure out which direction to go, when you mark this off, you just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then you just put an arrow at the end. Because then that tells me, oh, I went down on this row, so go up for the next one. So we're going to go up. So when we go up, we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 blues. 1, 2, 2 yellows. 1 white. 1, 2 yellows, and then a blue. So as you can see, we added another color. So we're going to have 2 color changes in this one row. Don't freak out. You do the same thing you've been doing. You've been doing great this far. Don't psych yourself out. It's not that hard. It's just changing it to another color. Okay, so we have that planned out. We're going to mark off row 11 on our paper. So 6 blues, 2 yellows, 1 white, 2 yellows, 1 blue. So let's get to it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. All right. So again, we're starting from the bottom and going up, but we still got to start off like we normally do. So chain your 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now make sure that those chains aren't too tight. Remember, you have to go back into them. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Found that 4th one and double crochet into it. This is the part that always got me whenever I did this pattern. It's the part that I could never remember. And then you do your 2 double crochets for the last 2 stitches. For some reason, whenever I don't do this pattern for a long time, I always think, how do I start the next row? And then I remember the repetition of it. You chain 6, go into the 4th chain. So we're going to go right in here. And then we're going to go ahead and connect it to the next row by slip stitch. So yarn over, pull through, and then pull through that last loop. We're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now this part you should be an expert at. Like, there should be no issues on this part. So 2, 3, 4, and that's our last one there. So that's our 4 for the cluster. And then we just keep going because we need 6 of those. And then if at any time you think you're doing something wrong or you want to make sure you're in the right spot, feel free to look back over at your pattern. You can even write what you're doing down on your pattern as you go. So like when I tell you that we need 6 blues, 2 yellows, 1 white, 2 yellows, 1 blue, you can write that on the side with the number 12. That way, if you decide to do this pattern again, you know the number counts before you need to change colors. And then we're going to keep going here. Chain our 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now, if you hear me counting and I count to 4, that's because I've counted that first chain 3 space, because you're supposed to have 4 clusters. And sometimes I will forget to make it 4, and I'll count it 1, 2, 3. So sometimes I will count that extra chain 3 as a stitch because it is considered a stitch. So we have 4 so far. We need 2 more. So let's do 2 more blues. 1, 2 double crochet, 3, and 4. And counting it like that will assure that you won't skip a double crochet, because like I said, sometimes you can get confused, and because you count this one, you're like 1, 2, 3, all right, I got them all, and that's how you end up skipping one of your stitches. So if you count all 4 of them, so if you count this as a double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, that repetition of 4, 4, 4, 4, that reminds you that there should be 4 little posts there in that cluster. And now we're going to do 1 more before we change color. So we're going to do this last one here, chain 3, then we're going to double crochet, 2, 3, and 4. Now remember, we're about to change colors. Don't finish off that double crochet, okay? So we're going to bring that yellow back around, because we need 2 of those. So we're going to finish off that double crochet, and then we're going to slip stitch it. Now when you're doing it from the front here, because we're on the front of this pattern now, when you're doing it from the front, you're going to go underneath it, okay? So you're going to go slip stitch, and you're going to underneath that yellow, do your slip stitch, do your chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to do our double crochet, 1. And you're still going underneath that string in the back that you had to pull so you can hide it, because it's the same color. 2, 3, and 4. Now we got 1 more yellow cluster, so let's do it. 1, chain 3, 2, 3, and 4. Now, we don't finish off that one, because remember, we're now introducing yet another color to this, which is going to be white. Now, I have white, it's Red Heart Super Saber White Shimmer, and that's what color I'm going to use for my white. So go ahead and make that slip stitch. And then we're not, like I said, we're not going to finish that yellow because we're adding a new color. But we only need 1 cluster of that new color. So we're going to go ahead and add that on, tighten it up on there. Make sure it's nice and tight. Make sure that yellow is tight so that you don't have a big loop right there just hanging. We're going to finish off that double crochet with the yellows with the white color. And then we're going to go into the next cluster here. And we're going to go ahead and start it like we would if we were just working with the same color. See how easy that was? Sorry, I'm scratching my face here. So we're going to do 1 cluster here. Remember, on that 3rd double crochet that you're doing, we're not going to finish it because we're changing right back to yellow. So we're going to do 2, 3, 4. Don't finish. Don't finish. Once you get to this point, take a deep breath. It's all right. You got this. And we're going to change back to that yellow. So I'm just going to take that yellow, push it towards the right, and move that tail out of the way. And then we're going to go ahead and finish off that double crochet with the yellow, because now I need 2 more yellows. So we're going to just keep going like it's just any other day. Like we didn't just change a color there. Like you didn't just change that color like a boss. And now we're just going to do our 3 double crochets after you do your chain 3. 2, 3, and this should make 4 posts. We're going to do 1 more. Oh, sorry, I yarned over. So we're going to insert, yarn over, pull through, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to do chain 3 here, or a double crochet, I'm sorry, 2 and 3. But we're not going to finish it with the yellow. See what I just did? I almost finished it with that yellow. Nay, we're not going to finish it with the yellow. Now, again, this is the part where it's up to you what you want to do, whether you want to cut it or keep it. Like I said, this will be probably like a little pillow, so I'm going to go ahead and keep it because nobody's going to see the back of it. Just make sure you're not pulling it too tight where it's bowing the fabric or the yarn up. Finish off that yellow. And now we need our last 2 blues for this row. So we're just going to keep going. 2, 3. There we go. 2, 3. And we've just completed row 12. Look at that. Now I had to go and get my scissors because I'm going to need it for this next row. You'll find out why here in a few minutes. But let's get started. Are you ready? Now, for this row, because we went up, we're now going to come back down. So once you go up the stairs, you don't just appear downstairs. You got to go down the stairs. So for this one, we need 1 blue, 2 yellows, 1 white, 2 yellows, 7 blues. Okay? So this is how we're going to start this. So we're going to chain our 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Find that 4th chain. And then we're going to crochet or double crochet into that 4th chain, which is right there. We're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to do the last 2 double crochets for this stitch. Now remember, we got to change colors because we only need 1 blue. This is going to be that 1 blue. Okay? So 1. And then this is the one we're not going to finish because we got to add that yellow. Okay? Oh, get back in there. So we're going to pull it to about right here. Okay? And then that's when we're going to grab the yellow. Now I've pulled some extra yarn out so that I had space for it here. So we're going to pull that yellow up. Oh, sorry. We're going to pull the yellow up to finish that stitch. Okay? So this is our first one. So we're going to turn it. Oh, hold on. Take that out. Because we're going to turn this so that this is sitting on top of there. So I'm going to turn it first because it makes it easier. So we're going to turn it. We're going to yarn over. Try not to pull too tight with that second color. We're going to pull through there. And remember, we're going to slip stitch underneath the line so we can hide it, okay? Now, when you do that, make sure that this yarn, this working blue yarn, is on the back side, not the front, because you don't want that to be on the wrong side of the project. So I'm going to pull that forward before we finish through with that yellow. Sorry if that part confused you a little bit with having to turn it and stuff. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to show this to you because you never really, we haven't changed on the first stitch like this before. So you want to make sure you're on the right side here. And then you just finish that last double crochet. And then we're going to start the next one. So we're going to go right in here We're going to go underneath that yellow pull and just work like we normally would. 1, 2, and 3. We're also going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to finish that off because we need 2 yellows. So slip stitch, 3 chains, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. But before we finish that third one, remember we have to change color because we only needed 2 yellows, okay? So now we're going to pick up the white, pull that yellow back, get it out of your way. Sorry, I got yarn like everywhere. There we go. Pull that yellow, pull that yellow out of your way. Hold it with your thumb if you have to. Bring that white up to finish that yellow last double crochet. Just like that. Insert it here. And if you find that there's a lot of slack on that thing, just pull it a little bit, see how tight you can get it. And then if you need to loosen it up, you can by just pulling the threads here, or the yarn there. We're going to just keep going. Since we have white on our hook now, we're going to do that 1 stitch of white, or the 1 cluster, I'm sorry. So 1, 2, oh, let's see, it's coming apart there, and 3. And then we're going to do some double crochets. Those are always fun. 1, 2, and 3. Now don't finish off this last one, because remember, we got to change right back to the yellow. We need 2 more of those yellows. So we're going to change right back. So right back, we're going to pull that yellow underneath the white. Just like that. I'm going to tug it just a little bit to make sure the stitch where I stopped with using the yellow is tight. And you'll see it when you go to tighten it. You'll see the stitch right there and how it tightens up. And then we're just going to finish that white double crochet with the yellow. And then, boom, we're going right into this white one here. And we're just going to keep going, okay? Now, according to the pattern, that's the last white you need for a while. So you don't have to keep that white on there. That's where the scissors come in. So I'm going to leave just a little tail on there so I can tie it off. Put that over there. That way, that's one less thing in your way distracting you. So we're going to get rid of that white yarn here. And then we're going to do 2 more yellows. So 1 cluster here. And then 1 more cluster of yellow and going right back to the blue. So we're going to bring it in here. Now, if at any time you're working on this and you want to check your work to make sure it's correct, okay? I'll show you. Let's finish this cluster quick. So let's do our 3 double crochets. We already did our slip stitch and our chain 3. So we're going to do our 3 double crochets. That's 1. That's 2. Now remember, don't finish that last one. For this third one here, we're going to leave those 2 loops on the hook. Because remember, we're going right back to blue. So yellow goes backwards. The blue goes underneath that yellow. Because if you put it the other way around, that yellow gets trapped in there. And that irritates me when I do that. So I tend not to do that. I always put the currently working color on top. And then the one that you're changing it to on the bottom. And then you can also use that to hold down your little tails here. So we're going to pull that down. We're going to go up here and grab this tail up here. And don't worry, as long as you don't pull anything drastic, your stitches aren't going anywhere. So we're going to go ahead and finish that yellow off with this blue. And then we're going to slip stitch into here. Now I'm going to pause right here to show you. You can keep going. I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause right here to show you. This is what we have so far. And if you look at your pattern and where you're at, that white should hit right on top of itself, right? So you see the white shining right here? It's one of the ways you can check your work quickly to know if you're doing it correctly. As long as that white is right on top of itself, you're doing it correctly. And look at here, your white is right on top of itself. Now, if there's a gap or anything in there, remember, just let it sit for a little bit. It will, the gap will contract itself and the yarn will be just fine. But the white hit right on top of itself just like it was supposed to. Perfect. You guys are doing great. I'm so proud of how you guys are keeping up. I wasn't planning on releasing the next video so soon, but you guys did so well, I had to. So we're going to go ahead and do our last 7 clusters of, it's 7, right? Yep, 7 clusters of blue. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we got our last 7 clusters. And this is the easy part because this is just making those clusters. So you can go as fast or as slow as you want. I'm going to speed it up here just a little bit just for the sake of time. Because I don't want to make these super long, because when it's too long it gets a little boring. So I don't want to make it too long, and I've already had to do like my camera stopped itself, so I have to go back and like patch them together. So I apologize if the video is a little patchy this time. I would go to pause and it would stop the video. So I do apologize for that. So just gonna keep doing our clusters here. And again, do it as fast or as slow as you want. Just make sure you're doing it accurately. If you're new to crocheting, you might not be that fast, and that's okay. I wasn't really fast when I started. I'm still not as fast as some of the ladies that crochet with me in the tester group that I'm in, but I still go at a decent speed that's for me. I'm not worried about how fast everybody else is going. This is another reason why I chose to do it like this in a video and not in a live, because people tend to pay attention to others when they're learning, and I don't want you guys to see each other working on it, because I didn't want anybody to feel any type of way or anything about how fast or slow they go, and I don't want anybody to be discouraged by how fast or slow they may go. I want you to just relax, sit back, just crochet your little heart out and just have fun with it, because this is a fun pattern to work on. It's really simple and easy, and it's something that anybody can do as long as you have a couple minutes a day. Even if it takes you longer than 2 or 3 days to complete, it's still a great project to work on. You can take your time working on it, and I thought it would be cute to have something like this for Christmas. So, and don't worry, we'll be done way before Christmas. So if you want to give this to like a family member or something, look, listen, handmade gifts are the best. Just make sure they deserve the handmade gift, and you'll know what I mean if you start selling crocheted items. So we're gonna do our clusters here. And then we're just gonna do our last 2. Now, if you're watching this and I've already completed this series, you, again, same thing goes for you. Just work at your own pace, not place. Duh, you're going to be working at your own pace. But work at your own pace. If you find yourself getting frustrated, take a step back, relax, take a deep breath. You can do it. Don't give up on it. As long as you keep trying to practice, you will make it, I promise. So we're going to do our last one here. Bam. We just finished row 13. Okay? So we're going to take this and we're going to mark off row 13. Now we're starting from up here this time. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. 13 is done. We went up. Now we're going to go down, because we got to go down if we came up. So like, yeah. Or now we're going to come up. I'm sorry, because we went up. Now we're going to come down. Or we're going to start from the bottom, because right now our pattern, we're at the bottom. So we have to start from down here. So hold up. Did I mix that up? We were up. I'm sorry. I am so sorry this confuses you guys. We were up and we went down. So now we're going back up. So essentially I'm going to draw those little arrows to help keep track of that. So the 15 will be coming down, 16 will be going up. So, because I think we're going to get to row 16 or 17 before I stop us for the day. Because there is a lot of color changing in here, which might take you a little bit longer. It might not, because you're not having to sit and talk and explain. And you're also not going slower so that people can keep up. Keep working. If you're not caught up yet, feel free to take this time that I'm jibber jabbering and I'm not working to work and get yourself caught up. If you need to pause the video, again, that is perfectly fine. Feel free to pause, stop, rewind, fast forward, do whatever you have to do. You're doing this at your own pace. This is supposed to be fun, not stressful. So if you do find yourself getting frustrated, seriously, pause the video, take a deep breath, take a step back, come back to it when your head is clear, and you'll see how quickly that snaps. And you're just like, how did I miss that? So yes, so for row 14, we are going up. Okay, so right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we have 8 blues. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 yellows. And then we have 1 more blue. So we're still mostly blue. We get a little bit of spice of yellow in there. So we're going to go ahead and work that next row. Okay? And like I said, feel free to write those directions down. That way you can look at the numbers and not so much at the pattern. Because looking at the pattern, it can be confusing. So feel free to write those little numbers on the side if you need to. And this pattern is free from Lovely Loops over on Pinterest. So you can always re-download it if you want to. If you write on it, you can always re-download it and write like little post-it note and stick it to the bottom of it and keep it in like a folder or something for patterns that you would like to try or that you're working on. And that way you'll always have the number count. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll always have the number count for, you know, how many blues are in this row or how many yellows are in this row. If you choose to change the colors, like if you do like a reverse blanket where the colors are different than the front, you essentially do the same thing. Just make sure that you replace the colors with the correct colors that you're looking to make it with. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do our chain 6 and then our 4 double, or our 4th chain from the hook, we're going to do our double crochet. And this row is going to be super easy because we only have 1 color change instead of 2. Now, next video, we will have more than 2 color changes, I believe. I think we're going to get into like the 3 and 4 colors in one row. So, yes, I'm excited for it. I know you guys can do it. It might sound scary, but I promise you it's not. It's no different than what you're doing now, except for you're changing colors to something that's not just yellow or whatever color you chose. So we got our 4 there. We're going to slip stitch. And we need 8 clusters for this particular row. So row 14 is what we're on. And we need just the 8 clusters here that we're going to do. So that's 2. Make sure I got more working yarn there. This is our 3rd one. And then our 4th one. Remember, slip stitch, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Double crochet 3 times, 1, 2, and 3. Feel free also, if you don't want to keep hearing me say the steps over and over again, feel free to pause. I promise I won't say anything insignificant to anything until I get to the yellow. For right now, it's just all blue, so I'll just keep repeating what the steps are so that you guys can kind of get that in your head as to what you're doing. Helps keep you on track. 1, 2, 3, So that's the fourth one. So now we're working on number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, why did I do 5? So we're going to take out 2. We only need 3 double crochets, not 5. My brain is elsewhere, I'm sorry. 2 and 3, and then do our 3 double crochets. 1. Got to stay focused, y'all. 2, 3. So 3 there. And then this should be our 6th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this will be our 7th one. 1, 2 post. 3 post. 4 post. And the posts are what you're seeing here on the side. These are the posts, the long parts. Okay. So let's see here. Let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need 1 more blue. One, 2, 3. Remember, on the 3rd double crochet for this one, you do not finish it because we got to finish it with the yellow. So 1, 2, 3. Don't mind the dog. Up, and we get to that 3rd one. Remember, don't finish it. If you finish it, just pull it out so that you have those 2 loops. So we have those 2 loops on the hook. We're going to grab that yellow. Oh, I knocked you a little bit. We're going to yarn over, pull through. We're going to tighten it here a little bit. And then we're going to just keep going like we didn't really change colors. You just keep going. So you guys didn't think you could do this. Look at you go. I'm so proud, you guys. Like, I'm not good at a whole lot of things, but apparently I can teach people how to crochet. So that's wonderful. I'm so happy for you guys. I cannot believe you guys are doing so well. I mean, I could because, you know, you have an awesome teacher, but I'm just saying. So now that you can do this, Lovely Loops has a few other patterns, and you can make this a motif and sew them together, or you can make like a blanket or whatnot, or a reverse pillow where one side has lights and one side has like a Christmas tree, or that cup of hot cocoa. So it's completely up to you. So we're going to keep going here because we need 5 yellows. So we're going to close up this white part here. Oop. 2. Let's pull some more yellow out there. 1, 2, 3. Making a lot more mistakes today. My brain is like tired, must be. If you do find yourself getting tired while working on this, please feel free to pause the video and come back when you're not so tired. Being tired will, as you can see, make you make a lot of mistakes because your brain starts to wander and you're not focusing on what you're doing. So if you get tired, you know, don't forget to hydrate. Also, make sure you have something to drink. I got my coffee here. And so whatever you're drinking and whatever, just make sure it's safe away from your your project so you don't get it on there. But yeah, if you're tired, it will make your mind wander, and you will end up making mistakes that way. So if you're tired, my biggest thing would be to pause the video. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be right here when you get back. So wherever you pause me at is where we'll pick it up at. So that's what, 4. 1 more for 5. Remember, don't finish that last double crochet on this one because we got to change it back to blue. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what did I just say? I said don't finish off, and I finished it off. See? Brain's wandering. Forgive me. Like I said, I am tired. This surgery recovery is kicking my butt today. All right. All right. So we're going to bring that blue up. Remember, get that yellow out of the way if you have to pull it up. Just like that. And this video might be a little bit longer because I want to get up to row 17 at least. So where's that blue color? There's the blue. And again, just lay it down on the table, lay your pattern flat, and just pull it up. You can make sure it's nice and taut, which means tight. And then just roll it over your hook and keep it pushing. Boom. Like a boss. And then this is the last one for this row. Now take it, like I said, you can work on this at your own rate. If you choose to, we're only going up to row 17 today. Like I said, if this video gets a little bit longer, I do apologize. But I do want to get up to row 17. And I think we only have, what, 3 rows to go? So we should be good. We should be good. Plus, I want to give you a little bit more to work on because I'm going to skip a day to give everybody a chance to catch up, and then we'll pick this back up after a couple of days. So, now, if it does start to bow up, just pull it. Not too tight, just stretch it out there. And there you have it. So you can see the side of the bulb coming to, and that is the end of the row for row 14. Yes! So, we got to mark this off, right? And we were going up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. Boom. But now that we've gone up the stairs, got to go back down the stairs. It's like exercise for your hands. So what do we need for row 15? Let's count. So we have 1, 2, so 2 blues, so T, B, not tuberculosis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have the same number of yellows, so 5 yellows. And then, of course, we're going to have 8 blues. So you're doing the exact same thing as you did for round 14, for round 15. And we'll have 2 more rows after this before we're done for the day. Y'all, I'm pushing through this because I want to see how well you guys do with this, because you guys, like, blew me out of the water, okay? Let me tell y'all, blew me out of the water showing me those projects. I was like, what? Even Rachel Ray was like, I got it. Y'all, Rachel has been trying to do this pattern for the longest time. And I told her it was simple and easy. I'm pretty sure now she's, like, kicking herself because she's like, that was super easy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what do we do? What do we do in that 4th chain? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right into that 4th chain, do that double crochet. And then 2 more to finish off that stitch. Now remember, we only need 1 up top here, okay? We only need 1. So we're not going to finish off that last double crochet. Let's see if I can remember that. Because I think the last 2 times I told y'all not to finish, I'm like, look at that, I finished. So 2 and 3. So we're just going to turn this side of the project that we're working on so that we have that blue sitting in front of us here like this. We're going to take that yellow to finish that off because we only needed 1. Hold up. How many blues did we need? 15. Oh, we needed 2 blues. Okay, so it's 2 blues, 5 yellows, 8 blues. Okay, so we needed 2 blues, so we're good. We're good. We're going to finish that off. And then we're going to add 1 more blue cluster. 1, 2, 3. Don't finish the last one in this one. I finally remember it, and it's like they're not the right one. 2 and 3. Don't finish this one off. Get it to those last 2 loops, okay? Then bring that yellow over. Make sure I have enough working yarn going on here. And then we're just going to start with the yellow. Now, if your lines end up doing this where it's pushing itself forward, all you got to do is just push it back. Push it back just like that. And then we're just going to start with our yellow. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. So we got our 3 double crochets in our chain 3. So we're just going to keep going. And again, if you want to go ahead and motor past me, feel free to do so. If you want to stick with me and work with me, that's fine. You can work this row at your own pace because essentially it's like super easy. So we had the 2 blues. 1, 2, 2 blues, 5 yellows, and then 8. Okay, just making sure. It's never hurts to double check, triple check if you need to. You want to make sure your pattern comes out right. So sometimes you got to double check and stuff. And half the time I be forgetting, so I got to check numerous times. So that's 2 clusters. This is our 3rd cluster. 1. There's 2 post. 3 post. 4 post. So that's 3. This is the 4th one. Before we get back to that blue. And this is that last cluster, should be 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is going to be the last cluster, and then the rest of it's going to be blue. So 1, 2, 3, and then 3 double crochets. And don't finish off that last one, remember? Because we're going to bring this down. So we're going to take that yellow, make sure it's on top so it doesn't get caught underneath the change in color. Nice and taut over here. Make sure my yellow's nice and tight. And then we're just going to loop it over. Boom. Back to blue. See how easy that was? You guys thought that would be hard. That's not hard. So let's just finish off this row with the blues, shall we? So let's do our 8 clusters of blue. 2 and 3. Connect this. 1, 2, and 3. Now again, don't worry about how fast I'm going. If I'm going faster than you, that's perfectly fine. You work at your own pace. Right now, the only reason why I'm going a little bit faster is one for time, and two because it's literally just the same color, same repetition over and over again, and you tend to speed up a little bit. If you haven't noticed, you're probably going a little bit faster than you were when you first started, and that's the joys of repetition patterns. You tend to get a little bit faster as you go, and because you know what you're doing, you tend to crochet a little bit faster, which also helps with your tension because it keeps your tension the same because you're going so fast. Now, don't go so fast that you make a bunch of mistakes. But the more you learn how to do this particular stitch, the quicker you will be at doing it. So if you notice that you've gotten a little bit faster, that is why. So kudos to you. Just cruising through your pattern there. Two. Three. We got 3 more clusters to make for this row. Right here. 1, 2, 3, and the 4th post here. 2 more, like one of those old jazzercise things when they used to count out how many more moves they had to do. All right, so we're gonna do our 3 double crochet after our chain 3 and our slip stitch. So 1, 2, and 3. Slip stitch and then chain 3. 1, 2, and 3 to end off row 15. There you have it. So we just finished row 15. So we're just gonna go ahead and mark that off. So 1, 2 blues. And you can check it as you're marking it off too. So we have our 2 blues. We did 5 yellows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we did 8 blues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. And we were going down. So now we're going back up. Let's count out what we need for row 16. Row 16 requires 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yellows. So 9 blue, 5 yellow, 1, 2, and then two more blues. All right, can you believe we're almost halfway done with the first like wave of this? Because by the time we're done, probably not next time, but we'll give it 2 more times after that. We'll be at the midway point, and then we'll start decreasing. So this series might be a little bit more than 5 videos. So here we go, because I don't want to overrun you guys with doing these, so I'm trying to take it slow, and I don't think you guys will mind. So if we look at it, there's our first bulb, and so we need our 9 blues. So we're going to move this off to the side here. Get this yarn out of the way. We got 1 more row after this, you guys. You guys are doing fantastic, and then I'm going to give you a 1-day break to rejuvenate yourselves and help those hands. If you are finding that you're having issues with your hands and you're using, say, an aluminum hook, try an ergonomic hook, or try to find a hook that has a fatter bottom to it, because that will help with your grip if you find that your hands hurt. Also, make sure you take breaks. Move your hand around, because sometimes those muscles can get stiff in there. So make sure you move your hand around to loosen up those muscles a little bit so you're not getting stiff, okay? All right, so here we go. We did our 6, find our 4th one. So, oh, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to double crochet into that 4th one. Yarn over, pull through. We're going to make sure all those are tight, so we're going to pull them a little bit tight so that they're not so loose. Then I'm just going to wiggle it just a little bit to give it a little bit of leeway there. And then we're just going to do our 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Hold on one second. All right, let's get back to it. Sorry, I had to get up and stretch. I can't sit for long periods of time. It starts to hurt. So, hopefully you're in a comfy chair. So here we go. We're gonna go keep going here because we need 9 of these clusters to get to the yellow. So we're gonna do our next cluster here. And again, take this at your own pace. If you want to fast forward and get to the yellow part, go ahead and do so. If you want to fast forward to get to the next row, we only have 1 more row left after this, and then we're going to call it for the day because I think this is going to be over an hour, and I really didn't want to go over an hour too much, but I wanted to get at least 7 rows done today. So we're going to do that because then next time, because we're on row 17 and we have to go to 25. So next video we might get there. We might. Because in the next video we should do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can do 8 rows in the next video, right? I think we can. 2, 3. We're gonna try it anyways. That video might also be a little bit over an hour, but that's okay. That gives you guys plenty of time to practice. Because I think our first video was only 5 rows, so we're gonna kind of split it up a little bit. And if you want to move ahead, you are more than welcome to do so. Essentially, I'm going at the pace that I'm going at for all the beginners so that they can build up their confidence with their hooking and make sure that they're doing the stitches correctly and make sure that it's looking okay. And so far from what I've seen, everybody's project looked perfect. So again, if you would like to share with me and some crafting friends of mine what your work looks like, feel free to share it over at Crafters Anonymous with Miss Crochet and Coffee and Rachel Ray. We'd be happy to have you. If you're not already a member of the group, all you have to do is agree to the rules and answer the questions, which are really easy. I believe they're multiple choice. And then right at the top of the rules, you'll see a check box. You check that box and read over those rules to make sure that you agree. Once you're entered in, you can share your project with me or tag me over on Instagram at Miss Crochet and Coffee, and I would love to see what you guys have been working on and how far you've gotten, because yeah, you guys are knocking this out of the park. And I was a little hesitant about doing more rows than 5 because you guys, you know, killed that first 5. I was like, let's give them a little bit more. So we're going to do 7 today, and then we'll do 8 next time. So we're just slowly building you up, and we'll gradually go down like that too. So we'll do, I think for that first video, we're going to do maybe 8 like we did the first time, and then go down to 7 rows, and then down to 5, and then we'll be done. So let's see, that's that one. Because you'll already be jacked up for that 8th row by the next video we do. So why not do another video with 8 rows and then go down to 7 and then down to 5, and that will get us to where we needs to be. 2, which did we do more than 10 rows? I don't think we did more than 10 rows. So yeah, the first, so it wouldn't be 5, so it'd be 10 rows for that last video. But the last video will be just like the first were here when we started. It'll be a lot of just blue, so I don't think that will be too much. I say my math ain't mathing. The math ain't mathing, y'all. Because 8 and 7 is 15. I need another 10 rows to make 25. So that last row, or that last video, will be 10 rows, and then that will be the completion of it. So 8. So it'll go 10, 7, 8, 8, 7, 10. And that'll make up 6 videos. So that should be good for you guys. Good gravy. Let's see. I'm up here jibber jabbing. We got to count to make sure we got the right one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So don't finish off that last double crochet there on the 9th cluster. You want to make sure you grab your yellow and finish off that last blue cluster. And if your stitches are a little loose, feel free to pull that string to tighten them up just a little bit. And then we're just going to keep going because we need 5 yellows. Do we need 5? Yep, we need 5. So we're going to do 5 clusters of yellow. 3 chains and then 3 double crochets. 2, 3, 3 slip stitch, and then 3 chains, and then 3 double crochets, 2 and 3 to make the second cluster. Let's make the third cluster. 2, 3 chains to start, and then 3 double crochets to finish. 1, 2, and 3. All right, and we got one here, and that's going to make number 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, hold on. Start this cluster over again. I think I added too many chains. I did chain 4 instead of chain 3 maybe. 1, 2, 3. So if you ever chain too many, you'll know, because when you go to do your double crochet, that chain 3 won't stand straight up with the post for the double crochet. It'll bow out a little bit. So you'll want to catch yourself before you move too far ahead to make sure that you're doing the correct number of stitches for that chain 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and we need one more cluster of yellow to make 5. So here we go, and I dropped a piece of thread there. All of it isn't on the hook. There we go. So now let's slip stitch. 2, 3. If we can keep it on our hook, 3, and then 3 double crochets, 2, and 3. Now don't finish that last one. Remember, we're changing back to blue, and we need 2 blues. So we're going to bring that blue up, make sure that yellow's on top of it. And this will happen where it gets tangled up, and that's fine. That's a normal occurrence because essentially you're just flipping it over itself like that. So we're going to yarn over here, pull it through, attach it with a slip stitch to that next chain 3 space. And then we're going to do those 2 blues to finish off row 16. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do our double crochets. 1 double crochet, 2, and 3. And then we're going to go up top here. 1, 2, and 3. And do our last cluster for row 16. You guys are doing so great. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so happy you guys are liking this crochet along. I'm enjoying it as well. It's so much fun to crochet with friends. So yes. All right. So we have hit row 16. And again, if it bubbles up like this, like you see how it's making like a little dome, you just straighten it. You straighten it. There you have it. And you can see that bulb forming right there before your eyes. All right. So we did row 16. Let's mark it off. We started from the bottom and made our way up. So we're going to go up, up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. And we went up. So now we got to go down. So for 17, we have 1, 2 blues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 yellows, and then 5 yellows, and then 10 blue. And that should stop us for the day, because 17 rows in, and we're already getting something that looks pretty good right now. Look how good it looks. Just take a minute to admire your work, because that also helps you keep the motivation to keep going, where you can see that pattern forming. So I absolutely love this. So let's keep going here. So we're going to go ahead and start this off. And you guys remember how to start it off. So we're going to do 2 yellows, or I'm sorry, 2 blues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then find that 4th chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I make it a little too tight? I think I did. There we go. And then we're going to do our double crochet into that one in the next 2 stitches. One and 2. Just like that. And then we're going to slip stitch, because we need 2 blues. So we're going to do this cluster as well as blue. So we did our 3 chains, and then we're going to do our 3 double crochets, but we're going to not finish that 3rd double crochet because we are going to change colors. So make sure you don't finish that 3rd double crochet. So here's our last one. And as soon as we pull it through those 2 there, pull that blue back, put that yellow on. Oh, sorry, I don't know where I'm going. Like, my hands are just veering all over the place. All right, let's put you right here. And then we're going to go underneath it here to do that slip stitch. And then the chain 3. And then the 3 double crochets. And remember, go underneath that line that you pull through, or that you're pulling, so that it hides that yellow string. The only strings we should see are blue, unless you're using a different color, obviously. So we have that cluster, and we need 4 more. I'm going to go underneath it again to bring it over this way, because I want it completely gone. 2, 3. Go underneath. I'm going to do a double crochet. And I'm still going underneath that string so that we can hide it. One more time. Just like that, and see how it's hidden. And since we're going over to the next stitch, I don't need to go under it again, so we're just going to leave it there. And we're just going to keep going for our third cluster. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Gotta hydrate. The coffee fuels me to keep going. So here we go. Hopefully this video won't be too long for you guys. If you guys don't like the longer video, please let me know down in the comment section below, so that I know that next time I need to make it only an hour long. I know a little bit more than an hour can be a little bit boring. I do apologize, but essentially we're just doing the same thing over and over again. I don't know how much more exciting I can make it for you. So, especially not without distracting you too much. I don't want to distract you. So here we go. We're gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's our 5th one. So we didn't finish it. Haha, look at that. Look at me paying attention. So we're gonna We're gonna bring that blue string up, push that yellow string up and back. We're gonna yarn over, pull through, start our next cluster with the blue. Don't mind Daisy and Killian that you hear behind me. 2, up, 2, and 3. Hello, Daisy. 2, and 3. And we're just going to do our 10 blue clusters. 1, 2, 3. Now remember, I'm not going to be saying anything significant. I'm just going to be randomly going back through the stitches again. So if you want to pause me just so you can watch my hands, please feel free to do so. Again, if you find yourself not caught up to where I'm at, that is okay. Pause, rewind, fast forward. You know the drill. If you find yourself needing to take a break, feel free to do so, because again, this is a little bit of a longer video. I do apologize. I wasn't meaning for it to be this long. But sometimes it takes a little bit extra time to explain those stitches to you. So feel free to watch this, you know, at whatever speed you need to make sure you get what you need to get. Next time when we do this, we're going to be doing 8 rows. So if the video isn't as long as this one, it should be as long as this one. Because next video, even though we're doing 8 rows, I think it's... the color changing is what takes a lot of the time. So I think we have quite a bit of color changing coming up, because we'll be starting to hit that red bulb soon. So yeah. 1, 2, and 3. 2. And 3. We're almost to the end, you guys. You're almost there. You're doing great. Just keep up that good work. Again, if you need to pause to take a break to do something with your life, that's fine. Just make sure when you come back, you're ready to go, because we'll be getting it over here with this stitch. If you're not a master at corner to corner crochet by the time this project's over, look, listen. Restart the project. Because this literally is like the repetition builds up so much muscle memory. You'll try to do other projects and you'll just be thinking corner to corner. That happens to me all the time. So, and you can make shawls out of this. Like if you were to just keep going, you could make this into a shawl. You could decrease and make it into like a blanket or a pillow or patch. If you're doing like a patchwork blanket, you could do each of the motifs from Loveable loops and then have them as a blanket. So you could sew the sides together to make them a big blanket, like a Christmas blanket. That's actually a pretty cool idea. I actually started working on the hot cocoa cup, and I got halfway done before we started this one. So I might just put that one on the back of this one, so it's a double-sided pillow. And of course, I will show you how I sew my pillow up. I just have to finish the other one, which shouldn't take me long because it only took me 2 days to finish the first half. So once I get that finished, I'll show you how I sew this up. That will give you time to say if you want to do like a plain background for your pillow, if this is what you want to do with it. It'll give you that time you need to make the corner to corner in one color. And then here's our last cluster. So we're going to slip stitch. Hopefully this isn't too overwhelming for you guys. You guys were doing so great. I wanted to make sure we got a good chunk of it done this time. So 1, 2, and 3. So let's check to make sure our stitches and everything are correct. This is what you should have so far. You have a bigger triangle. We're going to count. So we should have 10 blues, 5 yellows, 2 blues. 1. Oh, sorry, you can't see me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And what row did we stop on? Row 17. So there you have it, folks. Don't forget, pull your hook out if you're going to be done with this for the day. Now, another video won't come out for 24 hours after this one releases. So if you're watching this at the time that I'm making the videos, you won't see another video until Thursday. So keep that in mind as well. So I got my stitch marker on there. Make sure it goes through all the fibers and not just some of them, apparently. There we go. That's to keep the stitch in place so it won't come out. And this is what we should have so far. So you can see that bulb forming for that first yellow bulb. And we're going to mark off row 17 quick. So let's go. We had to go down for 17. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 2 blues and 5 yellows. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 for the blue. And then that one went down. So next we're going to go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and the last row will go down. So as you can see, when we come back, we're going to be getting into that red bulb. So we'll be doing color changes for the red, the blue, and the yellow next time. And if we go at the pace that we're currently going, like I said, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, so we only have 8 more rows to go before we hit the halfway point, and then we start decreasing, okay? So when we come back, we will get to that halfway point. And that video, like I said, will probably be a little bit longer. So if you like the longer videos, thumbs up. If you want the videos to be under an hour, please let me know that also in the comment section below. You guys said 5 videos, so trying to smush all that into 5 videos. So with that said, folks, I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching and joining me on this awesome crochet along. I'm having a lot of fun, and I hope you are too. This is what we have so far for our project. So this is what we have so far. So you should start seeing your first colored bulb coming to life. I hope you enjoy working on this with me as much as I enjoy working on it with you. Please feel free to leave comments down in the comment section below of this video. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this pattern so far. Also, share your work with me in Crafters Anonymous with Miss Crochet and Coffee and Rachel Ray over on Facebook or on Instagram, and just tag me at Miss Crochet and Coffee. But with that said, please stay safe out here in these crafty streets, y'all. It's hard out here. So please wear your mask, wash your hands, don't touch your face, keep your 6 feet, and always try to be kind, be courteous, be cool. Bye, guys.